What's going on, guys? Welcome to Dime Dropper Playoff Recaps. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe on YouTube at Dime Dropper Podcast, Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Spotify, and of course, to follow me on all social media platforms at Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Dime Dropper Pod. For tonight's episode, there's only one game on the agenda. Thankfully, I didn't have to make a separate video recapping the tragedy of a season that it would have been had the Clippers lost tonight. But I said in the last live, I really didn't think we'd win, but I did say I had a better feeling about it than the other two games because I've seen us go down in these type of situations. We did it against Utah, and we did it against the San Antonio Spurs in 2015. I know it's a totally different team, but the way this series has gone, I just had a feeling that we weren't going to lose that one. I'm more worried about Game 7, but let's get into the good stuff tonight. Clippers against elimination. I said it was a Kawhi Leonard legacy game coming off that Game 5. He had a poor night, and I kept saying, this is the night. This is the night where your Clipper legacy comes down to this. We lose tonight in the first round after last year and after everything that's been said this season about, we're really focused. That loss stuck with us. We got a lot of making up to do. And to go out in the first round of the team you beat in the glorified Summer League would just be a joke. And tonight, I immediately noticed one thing from the jump. Kawhi Leonard guarding Luka from the first quarter. And I thought it was just going to be, we're going to throw Kawhi at him more. Oh, no. Kawhi Leonard was going 90s style, doing what a lot of people have said that he can't do because he'd get too tired. This is what I talk about with the excuses today's NBA. I'm not saying he needs to do that all the time, but this is when your season's on the line. He's got to be guarding Luka more. I didn't think he was going to go all game. That just shows what he's capable of. And I've said it multiple times on this show. Multiple. I hope I can find a video clip if I look hard enough. But when Kawhi guards the best player on the other team, it's like he's more engaged in the whole game. The whole energy changes, and his whole energy changes. He doesn't get tired usually. He starts making more shots weirdly. And I don't know what it is. It's just a total different focus to the game when he's doing that. And he was guarding Luka. We were doing a lot more hedge and recover, which I've been suggesting the whole series. And we, went with no Zoo. Zoo played very little today. He played only 5 minutes because I think Ty wanted to have a guy that was quick enough to show and quick enough to recover. And I think that Reggie, Marcus Morris Sr., they did a good job doing exactly that. And Kawhi did a good job getting over the screens. But in the first quarter, I saw Luka. He got Marcus Morris Sr. on him on a couple switches, which I've said is okay. But he was cooking him, and he was making some tough shots. He even did a turnaround for the first time over his left shoulder. And I was like, what the hell? But, man, he had some nice shots as usual. He even had Paul George on him once and scored on him as well, I believe. And I just thought that we were getting good looks in the zone in the beginning of the game. But again, Kawhi was being very facilitator mode in the beginning. We were missing a lot of open threes, especially Senior. Paul George to start the game wasn't making too many shots. But you got to get – and Nick Batum as well. But you got to give credit to Reggie Jackson, who absolutely carried us in that first quarter with 12 points. Or it may have been 14, but I think it was 12 points. He made some huge shots in that first quarter. He was the one that got us going. And I was saying, Kawhi, maybe he needs to go to the high post. Like, he needs to get going. He needs to work quicker off the catch. And because of Luka and Tim Hardaway Jr.'s barrage in that first quarter, we were down only by 2, though. We responded well, only down 28-26. Second quarter, our great defense continued. Again, though, I was getting very nervous at the fact that all season, best three-point shooting team of all time, cannot make a shot, when we need it. Can't make the open shots. And that's mostly a guy like a Marcus Morris Sr., 0 of 3. Nick Batum tonight, 0 of 4 from the 3. We started – and then we threw Luke Kennard in there. He hasn't played this series at all in real minutes, and Luke Kennard comes out there scared. He's got his, that hesitancy we've talked about this season with Luke. Had a good 1 or 2 looks at a 3, didn't want to take it, got into the mid-range area and didn't want to take it, passed up an open shot for a Rondo 3 that missed. And Rondo, again, he only played 10 minutes because he just wasn't that great. He missed that 3, and then he got to the rim. Cauley-Stein contested it well, and he missed. And I just thought that We stuck the course defensively. That was the important thing. And I thought that Paul George started getting going more in that second quarter, but it was Kawhi Leonard. The thing that was pissing me off, though, was our free throws. Paul George missed 2 free throws in that first half, I believe. I think 2 free throws in that first half. It may have been 3. And Reggie Jackson missed one as well in that first half. And I was just like, these free throws are going to kill us. But Kawhi Leonard decided to show up midway through that second quarter, and he started getting in his bag. He started making, contested mid-ranges, and I just liked his aggression, especially late in that fourth quarter. We got Luka with 2 fouls, and a bonehead play Luka made, and this is going to come back to bite because we ended up winning the game. But a bonehead play Luka made was he was trying to foul hunt in that first half. Marcus Morris Sr. stood up straight. And, it was just a little contact, nothing enough to be called a foul. He misses, and, he already has a foul, and he just frustration fouls Reggie Jackson in the backcourt. It's not the first time he's done it this series, but he was over the limit. The Mavs were over the limit. That gifted us points. So that was just, frustration and immaturity from Luka being shown there in that second quarter. And overall, that ending to the second quarter was huge, especially from Kawhi. And, he really, after that first quarter, kept Luka under wraps. And he did such a great job. And Luka started getting afraid of him. He started being afraid to attack him. And this is what we've been calling for all series, like literally all series. And it didn't hamper his offense at all. And we're going to get to that second half in just a second. But Clippers leading by 3 at the half. It was big time, 48-45. And again, be honest with yourselves, Mavs fans and everybody watching this game. The only reason that this is possible, that we can go small ball and succeed like this, is because Kristaps Porzingis is terrible for what he could be. He does not know how to use his size. He's not a threat in the post at all. He's 7'3", and we're out there with Marcus Morris Sr. and Batum at the 5s. It's just quite embarrassing. Boban is much better at using his size than him. There were just a couple of moments, especially in the beginning of that third quarter, where, or I don't know if it was, it was the third quarter, but there were a couple of moments where Boban just missed some chippies. But the third quarter, the start of it was terrible for the Clippers. And it almost cost us again. It was that third quarter last game that dug us a hole. And this game, we were starting to do it too. Careless with the ball. Paul George could not buy one. He missed more free throws. Reggie Jackson was making some threes, but also taking some stupid shots as usual. Going ISO a little too much. Marcus Morris Sr. wasn't hitting. And one thing that killed us, we were trapping Luka a lot more on screen and roll too. A lot of hedge and recover, but a couple blitzes as you saw as well, with 2 guys just running straight at him. And a lot of it is because we know that Boban isn't quick enough to get to the ball, turn, dribble downhill, and make a read. He's not a Draymond Green. He's not even a Rudy Gobert in that instance. Even though he's gotten better at it, he's no Draymond. Draymond is the first one that comes to mind in those situations, 4-on-3, when Steph is getting trapped and they throw it to him to make a read. Boban, we have time to recover. But there was a problem when we were trapping, and Luka was making some nice passes right on the dot to Boban down low, and the guys rotating were your Rondos, your Reggie Jacksons, but he was just putting him over chairs. And we were going down, and I was thinking to myself, Ty calls a timeout. We're down like 4 points in that third quarter. Put in Zubats. He comes out and he doesn't, because I think that he doesn't want to have Zubats in the court with Luka at all to get hunted in that pick and roll. I'm wondering why he doesn't trust him to hedge and recover against a Boban. But, hey, man, we won the game, so I'm going to trust Coach Lue on this one. And we came out pretty decently. The only thing was Tim Hardaway Jr. I mean, he was just incredible tonight. And I'd make the argument that he may have been their best player tonight. But Luka still somehow had 29 points, 8 rebounds, and 11 assists, and 4 steals. But I don't know, man. After that first quarter, it just wasn't coming. It wasn't that scary from Luka. 3 turnovers, but Tim Hardaway Jr., 23 points, and some of the shots he was making, just threes quick off the catch with a solid contest in there, were just incredible. He ended up shooting 4 of 11 from 3 because in that fourth quarter, he missed some big ones, but he was 9 of 19 overall, including an and one that put him up 85-84. But Kawhi. I didn't know what we were in for in that second half. My word. That was Bean-esque. I criticized him that he thought he was Bean in that last game, and he literally, this was Jordan-esque, honestly, the way he guarded the entire game. I got to give him all the credit in the world. He's kind of won me over tonight. But here's the thing. If he chokes in Game 7, it doesn't matter. But let's just appreciate the performance tonight. I will say this. That jersey is coming out of the closet. I am wearing it to Game 7 because he earned it after that performance. That took so much guts. You do not see that in the modern NBA when a guy guards the best player the entire game, let alone at the end of a game, let alone one half. He guarded him the entire game, and he went to Toronto style. Everything you want, mid-range. I loved how he was depending on that mid-range. And then when they went to the zone, we went a lot more Kawhi at the high post. I've been saying that not all series, but since I said that last game, that I didn't like Kawhi facilitating. I want Kawhi in that high post so he can turn and go that mid-range. A couple times he was able to get Boban one-on-one, and I thought that he was just carrying us in that second half when Paul George was struggling, especially in that third quarter. And Reggie was starting to make some bonehead maneuvers, and I just was a little nervous. I just thought our season was crumbling because the momentum was going against us, and he made some shots similar to Devin Booker last night where he just did not let the momentum ride, and he made some huge shots, some of them on just one-on-one attacking and in his bag. He had a little wiggle to his game. He was just having one of those nights where everything was going no matter the degree of difficulty, whether it was a pull-up over Luka with a good contest in there from like 18 feet, or that one on Finney Smith where he just, hit him with a couple of combos, tween, cross, step back, created so much separation. It was just beautiful. Crossover for a step back three, and it was incredible. It was just incredible. Every time the Mavs made a run, he answered the call. And then when he sat out for those brief minutes in the beginning of that fourth quarter, by the way, I thought that following the timeout when I thought Zoo should have came in, Marcus Morris Sr., despite having the worst game offensively that I've seen him have for the Clippers, probably, going 1 for 10 and 0 of 3 from 3, and that has to change in Game 7. He has been poor shooting the ball in this series, and I hate it. And he is not good at driving to the basket. He's much better at shooting jumpers. One thing I cannot stand that he's not doing in this series, why is he turning down that mid-range jumper that he's hit all season long? It's really pissing me off because you know how I feel about them neglecting the mid-range for this analytics trash. Garbage. You got to hit that in the playoffs. That's your shot. That's high percentage, bro. Stop fiending. Make that shot. Take that shot. But anyway, Marcus Morris Sr. played the best defensive game he's ever played for the Clippers. He did a great job showing on Luka. He did a great job. I said last game, I think Batum should guard the 5-man, not Sr., because he can't rebound. But tonight, he was fighting very hard. The hardest I've ever seen him fight on the glass against Boban. You got to give him all the credit in the world. He was having active hands just wrestling down there with him. And he did a great job helping on certain moments and just being in the right places on defense. And he usually can be a little slow-footed. And he did a great job on Luka as well in the second half and just over the course of the game. Marcus Morris Sr. deserves a lot of credit for his defensive performance tonight. But that Kawhi guy. And by the way, in that moment, Paul George in that fourth quarter, when it looked like the playoff P memes were going to come out in full force, the slander would have been endless, even though he hasn't had a bad game really in the entire series. 7 huge points in that fourth quarter. Jumpers. I don't know if he made a 3. I think he did make a 3. It was just massive. Massive, the points he had in that fourth. And then Kawhi Leonard taking the game by the scruff of the neck, doing what a superstar does. That step back 3 on Luka, man, that was cold. That was a taste of his own medicine. And I talked about it in the last game, I absolutely love how he went at Luka more defensively in this game. We should have been doing this all series. That's my one problem, is that these are such obvious things that we could have been doing more, like playing Kawhi and Luka more, hedging and recovering every screen instead of switching so easily. I mean, shouldn't make these adjustments quick enough, but it was just an unbelievably resilient performance again by the Clips. I just think that it all starts with how we start the game defensively. Here's the thing. This Mavs team clearly is a good first quarter team, but if we put more pressure on them defensively and don't gift them things, the whole course of the game will change. We give them too much confidence in the games at home. I don't know why we come out complacent or whatnot, but it's just absolutely huge. And Kawhi Leonard, after 90-88 to hit that pull-up, and then that step back 3, 2 step back 3s in a row, I believe. Just incredible. Icing the game, going at Luka and telling him, you know what? I'm supposed to guard you, but you can't guard me. And you don't have that pressure that I have. You may have to create a lot of shots for your team. A lot of things is he chooses to do that. Luka, the way he plays is so ball dominant. Nobody gets involved. They don't try to make Porzingis better. They don't try to spread the wealth throughout a game because he's so OP in that pick and roll. The problem with him is a similar thing I criticize LeBron for. He stands at half court when he doesn't have the ball. He's even worse. He's like LeBron when he was young. He just stands at half court. He doesn't get involved. It's just there's no flow. It's like it's either Luka creating or someone else is creating and Luka's just standing around. That's just not – it's not cohesive basketball. It's not great team basketball. The ball's never moving like that with the Mavs. It's very stagnant. It's just how do I guard this great player? As I said, that's not a recipe for success. It can work at a certain level, but once you get against the team that really moves the ball and really clamps down, you're fucked. The problem with us is we haven't figured out that clamp down part until now. And you could tell that Luka was starting to get intimidated by Kawhi. And Kawhi just – it was a legacy game, man, and he performed to the best of his abilities. He gave it everything he had, and he earned that Game 7, man. And I'm going to chant MVP for him the loudest can be. And I'm going to be in that lower bowl at Game 7. This is going to be my 4th Game 7. We're 2-1 in the games I've been to. The only loss coming against Utah. And it was a 12:30 game, so I don't know if that's a good sign. We suck in those 12:30 games, but we also didn't have Blake Griffin. And it's also a different scenario. At the end of the day, this is what you play for. A Game 7 at your home court to decide the season. This is going to be the only one we can have because we don't have a better record than any other team going forward, really. Yeah, we don't. We don't have a better record than the Jazz. We don't have a better record than the Nuggets or the Suns. So this is going to be the only chance we have of a Game 7 at home here. We need to win. This is it. Paul George and Kawhi in front of the home fans. What absolutely sucks is the fans. We don't have that many, which just blows, just absolutely blows. But no excuses. You're in the home environment. You're not in a hostile Dallas. Win one home game for us, please. Give it everything you have, just like they did tonight. Kennard was diving for loose balls tonight. Paul George was diving for loose balls tonight. And here's the thing. We gave them so many chances to win this game in terms of the amounts that we turned the ball over, the free throws we missed. We made a lot of careless errors still, a lot of mental mistakes and bad shots at bad times, especially in that third quarter. But because Kawhi was so damn brilliant, we got the job done. And you got to give him credit, man. I'm not going to fully apologize because we haven't gotten at that second round. But Kawhi Leonard, man, he won me over with that. That took a lot of guts. And that was just Kobe-esque, man. Jordan-esque, just the passion. He didn't show it in his voice, but the way he played, he did it. He led by example. And, we want to talk about a leader. Kawhi may not be the most vocal leader in the world. Well, his performance spoke more than he could ever speak tonight. It was just incredible. It topped even Chris Paul in Game 5 at San Antonio and Game 6 against San Antonio and Game 6 against Utah. It was just unbelievable. And Paul George performing in that fourth quarter, Marcus Morris Sr. on defense, Ty Lue, adjustments were good. Just less mental mistakes. Kawhi being aggressive again, like I said. Kawhi guarding Luka. Maybe he has to do that again. I mean, why not? You're going to have to put it all on the line. So I'm just blessed, man. To be at a Game 7 after the year that we've had, it's just a blessing. It's a great time to be alive, great time to be supporting my Clips. My 4th Game 7 of my life. I've had some great memories at Game 7s. This is it, man. This is it. Go 2-0 against the Mavs all time in playoffs. We got to do this. Utah is going to be rested. That's the only thing about this. Utah is going to be rested. And this is why I said it could come back to bite us that we wanted to play Dallas because I thought we were going to win the series, no questions before it started. I didn't think we were going to be in this roller coaster of a ride. But, as a Clipper fan, I should have expected something like that. But I'll say this. I said it may take us 6 or 7. And that sucks because the Jazz are going to win in 4 or 5 games. And they did. And that Utah crowd is going to be tough. But hopefully we'll get more fans if we make it. But here we go. One damn game. Anyway, that's it for me tonight, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. The season is alive. The Clippers stay alive. You Laker fans that wanted us to lose and other ones that are talking shit in the comments, you guys, Luka's going to sun you tonight. Hope you're miserable tonight. And how you're enjoying the fishing trip. 1, 2, 3 Cancun. Let's see if we join you on Sunday afternoon. Now we're going to go to the live chat. 60 subscribers waiting so patiently. I see the Goon Squad is infiltrated again. It was good meeting you, buddy, at the game the other day. What was it, Mr. Adams' question? Oh, Paul George was fantastic, man, in that fourth quarter. He just needed to be a little bit better next game. Not making such stupid errors, dribbling off his foot, and just, making shots. No, I'm not going off, guys. Don't get don't start crying yet. Ty Lue wanting to wait until today to show what was up his sleeve. You can't wait, man. You gotta have that mentality from game one. You know what I'm saying? Like we should make life too hard on ourselves. Let's see. Should the Lakers have traded Dennis, THT, and KCP for Kyle Lowry? It's easy to say in hindsight. I don't think so. I think it was the right decision to just stay with it. Luka was very passive today. It's because he forced the ball out of his hand. He doesn't know how to move without the ball. ZZ Visions asks, as someone who is familiar with Laker history, what's your view on Pat Riley? The Godfather? What are you talking about, bro? That's the Godfather. That's my view. Jonah Kim says, Dime, Markieff Morris has been unplayable due to shooting 12% from three. I don't care anymore. He's a bubble fraud in terms of his shooting. I was saying that last year. He doesn't shoot like that. Johnny Comedy asks, who's going to pick up the title of the best player in the world after this season? I think it's between Kawhi, Steph Curry, which we've seen all of Steph Curry this season, Kevin. I just want to see how he reacts, how they guard him. And, Giannis is in the mix. I don't think he is, but he's in the mix. And Joker. Those are the five. Shane Faustner says, Dime, can you bark in honor of James? Woo, woo! That was Kawhi tonight, a dog. Oh, look, it's Gab Lee, the legacy defender. By the way, I saw your comment about the 07 Heat. And by the way, Dwayne Wade dislocated his shoulder really badly at the beginning of that season. That team was getting older. Antoine Walker, Jason Williams, Gary Payton, Alonzo, Shaq. They were all going towards the end of the rope. But that being said, it was still embarrassing that they got swept. And if you want to look at Dwayne Wade's career and judge every year, that was a disappointment. No questions about it. No questions about it. I'm just talking about if you're going very intricate details of their careers. So Dwayne Wade is just consensus, though, for me, third best shooting guard of all time. No questions asked. I have to watch more Clyde the Glide, though. I think that he's the closest one to him. Dorian, Kawhi had a legacy game tonight. Oh, of course, Gab Lee had to mention LeBron. Of course. He didn't have to say the L word tonight. He took an L last night. So we're not mentioning him. Dorian, Kawhi had a legacy game tonight, right? It says. It was very similar to LeBron games. Oh, you said it too. Yeah, I guess you could say that. Only difference was his was in the Eastern Conference Finals and he still won the championship. But LeBron didn't guard the best player of the whole night. So it's comparable, but we still got to get out of this series. Does it concern you Rondo has been a kind of a non-factor so far? No, it doesn't, because I know he's ready for the moment when it comes. So we'll see. 3-0 since Nick Batum wow space. Is this the reason why we are winning? Well, you know what that means. You got to have a fourth space for Game 7. Hayden Sigurdsson. Charles Barkley guaranteed the Clippers would win, which would normally be a curse, but he's 2 for 2 on guarantees. Well, no, he guaranteed the Mavs weren't winning another game, and they won Game 5. So he's not fully guaranteed. He's not fully 100%. Darian, are you going to wear Kawhi's jersey for Game 7? I will. He earned it with that performance. Dime, are you going to do regular season recaps next season if the Clips get to the Western Conference Finals? Yes, probably, but I'll tone them down. It's not going to be as much as this season. Adam asks, are you concerned about the fact that it's an afternoon weekend game? A little bit, just because of our history with them, but at the same time, this is an excuse, man. If you're not, it's Game 7 with your season on the line. You haven't been able to play a Game 7 with fans for a long time now. You should be ready to play at 5:30 in the morning if you need be. This is Game 7. The best 2 words in team sports. No excuses. Everything on the line. That's still just as much big a legacy game as tonight. You can't lose a Game 7 at home. We had the excuse of being in the bubble last year. No excuses now. Game 7 on your home court with fans. Just not a ton. Let's see. You don't think James Harden is in the discussion for best player in the world? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Maybe just offensively. He just tween cross, step back. No. He ran to Brooklyn. He doesn't get that luxury. Iverson or Clyde? I got to watch more tape, but probably Clyde. I'd take James Harden over Clyde. I wouldn't in a million years, but I feel you. I mean, James Harden, it's missing with that dude. Very talented, but I'm taking Clyde. More hustle, more heart, more fight. Better mid range. Way more athletic. Anyway, Dwayne Wade might go. Yeah, Dwayne Wade, that's your boy. That's Wade County over there, Easy Visions. I worry Kawhi might not have much in the tank after today. Well, he's got a nice day of rest, so we'll see. It's not like Luka hasn't been getting tired this series, too. I mean, could the NBA fall off once LeBron is retired? Absolutely not. It's going to be great when he retires because it's going to be maybe not one face of the league, and there'll be a lot of people fighting to just make a name for themselves. And it's not, maybe it'll be less narrative based. I doubt it, though. I think we're trending in the wrong direction with player stand culture. They'll find a new guy to try to prop, but it'll be nice to see somebody fight for that mantle. Yes, sir. Dope seeing you too, Shane. Clipson 7. Yes, sir. My name Ridzi says Lakers fan, but want Kawhi to take down Durant, Harden, and Kyrie. I appreciate you. How am I doing tonight, Raheem? I'm doing amazing, obviously. When we win in course of Game 7. Yeah, forget crushed ice. He sucks. Harden over Clyde? I highly disagree. Tell Harden to take his team to the finals and not shoot 27 threes in a row like a mindless domer looking for fouls. Sorry. And he doesn't move without the ball at all. He literally stands around. Like, no. Harden better win a championship this season. No excuses. He better win. Because the second Clyde teamed up with Akeem, and that was at the latter end of their primes. Well, no, Akeem was in his prime, but Clyde was at the latter end of his. And they linked up the first year and were the 6th seed and won. So they didn't have all the chemistry in the world either. And these guys have all the odds, and like they're stacked in their favor. The big bad Lakers are gone, so. But I feel you. Oh, you are a LeBron fan, Gably. No wonder you were doing all that stuff last night. Explains everything. Always explains everything. Clyde is greater than Harden. Who has a better face-up game, Jokic or Embiid? I think Embiid has a better face-up game. I think low post. Maybe Jokic. I'd have to watch them like every game to determine that. That's very tight because it's very slim margins. Kawhi did what LeBron should have done. He can't do that, quite frankly. Like right now in the condition that he's in. Because he neglects to take the mid-range. He'd have to get scorching from 3. And first of all, LeBron can't guard the best player the whole game. He never has been able to do that the whole game, ever. Ever. Find me a game where he's done it. Even his best defensive moments against Derrick Rose, against Tony Parker, not the whole game. He's getting lit up, too, in some of those. Not Derrick Rose. He did a good job against him late in those games in 2011. Then he shot the bed against the Mavs in the finals on both ends of the court. Jason Terry was blowing by him. He was sagging off in no man's land like usual. But, I said we're not going to talk about him, so. Of course, there was no excuse, right? I'm just saying that with a Game 7 with a neutral site is not the same as fans. You don't understand my hatred for James Harden? Well, I don't know how you can listen to me talk for this long and not realize that I can't stand ball dominators. I can't stand people that over dribble. I can't stand people that go for the assist pass, that don't play defense, that don't move without the ball. And that, what else? Foul bait, don't play the game the right way. Like, you know what I'm saying? They don't play the game the right way to me. And then like literally pouted and whined when the Houston Rockets gave him everything he wanted. He drove Chris Paul away with his ball dominant nature. And Westbrook, I don't think he cared for. Went to Brooklyn. That's the one. Like, come on. Big game, James or Paul Pierce? That's a really good one. Probably Pierce, especially because of longevity. But I'm not too big on longevity, so I'd have to watch Worthy in his prime. I haven't watched enough to answer that question. 86 Celtics better than any Laker team, says Larry Bird. Facts, Joe Black. PG better show up. What's your all-time favorite Clipper moment? I mean, it's got to be Game 7 against the Spurs, but it quickly came to an end. James Worthy is greater than Pierce, says Larry Bird. What happens if Kawhi shows up in Game 7, Gabby asked, but they still lose? Is his legacy still damaged? If he plays and gives it his all on both ends of the court, no. It's about how you lose. How you lose. Not on the box score, watching the game. That matters. LeBron fans hate the actual watching the games, though. They hate it. I notice. They don't like the nuances of the game. They like a blank paper. Anyway. James Harden has won an MVP, though. I mean, cool. Regular season media award. Like, that's sick. When by the way, when LeBron James, made it, was the best player in the NBA by a good distance, and he wasn't prioritized in the regular season the same way like a Michael Jordan would. So I'd say, Clyde didn't take his team to the finals in 93. You mean 92? Havlicek over KD, I agree. LeBron doesn't play like Kobe or MJ's different play style. Yeah, that's true. KD finna tie Bird in championships, and guess how much it means? 0. Because of the way he went and got him. Yep, Larry Bird's spitting facts right now. I'm the best small forward of all time because I can be the best individual player while making everyone around me better. Everyone, not just spot-up shooters and rim rollers. Steph Curry or Jerry West? Great argument. As of now, I'll probably say Steph a bit. That's really close, though. Jerry's a better defender. He's more athletic, but Curry's playing in an era that jump shooting is more emphasized than the three-point line exists. I'd probably say Curry. But it's really close. I mean, that's a really good one. Steph Curry's much closer to that level than Magic level to me. People sleep on Jerry West. He's really amazing. Probably Steph, though. I can't answer that fully, though. Probably Steph. I'll take Steph. Oscar Robertson or Jerry West. That's one of the toughest debates in the history of basketball. I don't know. I like Jerry, but I like Jerry's game a little more. Even though I really like Oscar's a better passer. I think there's not too much footage of Cincinnati Oscar out there, but I don't know, man. There's something about Jerry West's ability to just like win games and like just his scoring and like I don't know. I think he's a better defender probably than Oscar. And he was better later in his career, like the 71, 70, 69 years to me. Like Oscar still missed the playoffs. Jerry West has lost a lot in the finals, but he made it to the finals all the time. And he averaged 46 points a game in a playoff series and won without Elgin Baylor. Like that's just huge. Like you want to talk about like LeBron's 07, like those amazing ones where he still didn't win the championship. Like Jerry West, 65. That's just crazy. Do you think we would be too tired if we win Game 7 and come against the Jazz? It's a very large possibility, and that's what we get for not prioritizing seeding. Magic is greater than Larry, Chase Maldonado says. Few boomers spitting facts like usual, talking about Bird winning 3 straight MVPs. Dame leaving Portland, I don't know. Raid. But Darian, Bird and Michael Parrish. First of all, his name is Robert Parrish. And Dennis Johnson. Why can't KD have Harden or Kyrie? Not defending KD. I'm just curious as to what you think. This is why. Because KD and Kyrie Irving were supposed to be a championship contender in its own right. James Harden is, all three of them in their prime with nobody else really having a team that can really combat that right now. Again, I did say this, though. I don't think 3 stars is unfair. Honestly, I would probably put this – I don't know how to judge these rings. It depends how it happens. It depends who they play. But the 3 best one-on-one players in the NBA, do you know what I'm saying? Like, at least with the Celtics, first of all, they were built naturally. Okay, it wasn't all this bitching and whining from James Harden and then Kyrie and KD. I don't mind Kyrie and KD linking up to play together. I don't mind that really at all. I'm all for duos. Like I'm all for duos. But that big 3 collusion stuff, like when right now the league was all duos, like KD didn't want the responsibility. He was able to cruise in the regular season. So like to me, that's why it doesn't mean nearly as much. That's why. If he wins though, it's in between. I think it's in between like a LeBron's rings with the Heat and then his rings with the Warriors. Like, it'll be more legit than those Warriors rings, but I don't know, man. It's kind of weak overall. Yeah, I don't. Cavalier Finals MVP is a little overrated. As long as you help get the win, that's important. It'll definitely increase his legacy, but like people can have their opinions of him. I just don't respect the way that he's gone about things ever since 2016. All that talent, an amazing talent, bro, and I love watching him play. But what move should the Knicks make? Try to go get another star. Simple as that. Maybe definitely got to get a better point guard. McHale and Parrish. Yeah. Yep, I agree. The difference between Curry and Dame is their off-ball movement. Yeah, it's not the Nets three with bums, few boomer. I agree with you, but I don't think that their supporting cast is that elite. It's nothing compared to the Bird one. That Celtics team is ridiculous, but they're built naturally. And like, here's the thing: we never saw. It's just a little different because we didn't see like Harden's a franchise carrier. You know what I'm saying? Like we haven't seen. We did. I'm not saying McHale couldn't have been, but we didn't see that. You know, it was just homegrown together. It's totally different, just the way it went about. But anyway. I just think this is my thing, right? They were already a championship contender with the team that they had. I just think I don't know. And here's the thing: why I also think it's ridiculous because KD, when we're talking KD, you know, he didn't get. He really like basically coasted the whole season because Harden was able to pick up the slack. I think we got to get the win, Carson Johnson. That's all I got to say. Lucky win tonight? Come on, man. It wasn't that lucky. Kawhi earned it. What are we saying here? Bucks have any shot? Of course they do. B cast. What's good, B? Staying up late, huh? 2:16 a.m. over there. Yeah, the Bucks definitely have a shot. I'm thinking. I think the Nets will win in 7, but this is the time. This is the time. 96 Bulls or 2017 Warriors. It all depends on the rules. They're playing in today's rules. The Warriors are smoking them. If they're playing the 90s and that Jordan guards Curry the whole way, phew, they're gonna be in for a long night. Very long. Actually, that's a 27. And then Pippen will guard Durant, and then you put Ron Harper on. That team will be so physical with them. That would be smothering. And Curry's getting bumped off the ball. I don't know who's guarding Mike. I don't know. It'd be a good series. They're just big though. That's the thing about the Warriors. They're just not big enough. Um, they may just kill them on the glass. But I don't know. I think that a team like I think the Celtics team of the '80s would be better like to play against the Warriors to me. I don't know. I just think that they have too many good post players for the Warriors. That's what you got to beat him is in the interior. You got to muck up the game and make him guard on the interior, wear them out that way. And they don't the Bulls. You know they have Jordan in the post and that triangle and Ron Harper like guards and Pippen, but I don't know about Luke Longley's post game enough. You know, and Rodman's not a post up player. But again, it's all dependent on the rules. Do you think it's fair to say that Luka is already a better player than Dirk ever was? No. What the hell? Absolutely not. What kind of no way. Not already. Relax. Luka has deficiencies, man. Because, dude, Dirk, let's pump it a bit. Not like Luke. Yeah, no. I think Dirk. Come on. I think we're slow in that roll. Dirk's dropping 50. And 2006 rules. Probably the Warriors. I don't. But I mean, it's tough for me to answer that question, Chase, because I haven't watched the '96 Bulls in depth. I watched the 2017 Warriors, the whole playoffs. So you said I thought there were some questionable calls in tonight's game. Girlby says I thought you was fine that Kawhi can leave. If we lost, yes. And once again, no matter what happens, he can do what he wants. I'm not losing sleep over anything. Yeah, come on, pump the brakes. Luka over Dirk already? Dude, that's Dirk Nowitzki, son, who smacked your boy in the finals and sent him home. And then oh man, that 2011. KD is top 3 what? Players in the league right now? Sure. What makes you think he can overcome Draymond? Who are you talking about, Maniac Lane? Barkley or Malone? Great question, Larry Bird. I have to watch more footage. Here's what I noticed though. Barkley is a much more. I think he's more well-rounded in the sense that he can kind of be like a point forward at times. He's also relentless, and I think he's one of the best rebounders I've ever seen in my life. Malone's mid-range, though, like his jumper, his shooting is way better. Like his mid-range is just automatic, and in the post, I don't know. Malone's real. I kind of think Barkley's more talented, but I gotta watch more. Like I can't really judge, man. I haven't even watched one full series of either, so I can't really judge. Yeah, no, Luka I think will be better than Dirk, but right now, no. Let's calm down. I'm 22, at least Biwasi. AD is not on Tim Duncan's galaxy. Let's few boomer. Like, don't listen to those people. Hayden Sigerton, let's just see. You asked me about Ben Simmons for CJ McCollum. Let's see how the Sixer season goes first. Chase Maldonado says, I saw the Ball brothers at Magic Mountain last week. That's hilarious. All of them were there? In no particular order, right? It says, who is the greatest 10 players ever? What's it called? Bill, Wilt, Kareem, Magic, Bird, Jordan, Tim Duncan, Kobe, LeBron, and Shaq. And you can make a case for Olajuwon. Gabby says, okay, but pre-2011, Dirk was perceived as one of the biggest playoff chokers because of 2006 and then 2007. That's true. Totally true. But we're not talking about pre-2011. You're asking me about, is he better than Dirk already at any point? And Dirk was more of a man in 2011. Yeah. I know it's the only thing. It definitely is. But let's be honest, though. I mean, Dirk still led a team to 67 wins. Dirk still went to the finals in 06. Like, this guy, Luka, he's playing great. He hasn't won a first-round series yet. Yeah, Ed Disney's not better than Mikhail. AD. Let's reading your comment, Larry Bird. He's definitely not better than Mikhail. No way. AD versus Jokic. Last year I would have said AD. This year I'm going to go with Jokic. AD or Embiid. This year I got to go with Embiid. I don't think so, Joe Black. I don't think AD could be on Tim's Galaxy. I think lacks that toughness, lacks that commitment every single night to be great and want to dominate and be in the post. And he's too comfortable out there on the perimeter. He's a tall guard, and he's too injury prone as well. And he falls in love with jumpers sometimes, and he doesn't like physicality sometimes. And I just think that Tim Duncan was a lot more consistent, and he was just so much better in the post and how frequently he went to it. And just such a well-rounded player, way better at passing out of double teams, a very good defender, even though AD is a great one too. But, I mean, Tim Duncan had one of the highest basketball IQs in the history of the game. So I think AD is a smart player, but it's not like that. I have Shaq. I don't really have anybody over anybody. Like Shaq over Hakeem right now, I don't know. I haven't watched enough, but I think that I would have to guess Shaq. Hakeem over Wilt. I don't know about that. I used to think that, but I don't know. Yeah, I think you have to understand how great Wilt was every single year in terms of like the expectation that he had, and he had to go. He basically went really far all the time and lost to Bill Russell. And plus, he has 2 rings as well. And like, I just think that he has a more storied career. But I think it's a great debate as well. Hakeem in his prime, probably, but I don't know. It's a good debate. I just think that Wilt, his impact on basketball and all the statistical records, and he has the same amount of rings as Hakeem. So I don't know. Yeah, imagine how many threes Dirk would take in today's NBA. I mean, Dirk is a what's it called? He was a pioneer in ways. My prediction for Game 7 is that we lose because I say that we're gonna win. So my prediction, we gotta win it, man. We gotta win it. We gotta win it. That's my prediction. We gotta win it. I'm Persian. I'm Iranian. Carson Johnson. By the way, Jonah Kim, I don't have a top 5 yet. That's not confirmed. I just predicted that'll probably be it. Wang Zhixi? I think so. Played for the Clippers in the early 2000s, you say? I think so. Who has a better handle, Zeke or Tim Hardaway? I gotta watch, but probably Zeke. I gotta watch more though. Why was AD so good last season, but this year AD was on and off? His defense is inconsistent. I think just not health and not having a full offseason to recover, maybe. And I just think that in the beginning he was saving himself for the playoffs and just not playing with that hunger and still getting away with it. And then after he started getting injured, it was just tough. He's not too old now, though, Few Boomer. AD is too old now. He's injury prone, but not too old now. My guy Amon. What's up, G? Say hi to Amon, people. Gotta say, that's my boy. Yeah, Carson Johnson, I agree. Wilt never gets enough praise in GOAT talks. People's BS argument of the rules were different. The rules were different, and they didn't favor towards strong males like that. I'm afraid I disagree with you, Joe Black. I think that Tim is just better. He had a better team. Dude, Anthony Davis is playing with LeBron, like basically in his prime last year still. Like still great years of LeBron James. Like Tim Duncan, like let's be honest with yourselves. Tony Parker is great. David Robinson's great. He was at the latter end of his career. Manu is great. Imagine if you put Tim Duncan with Kobe or something. He's dogging. They're winning 5 chips in a row. Like don't even mess. You can't even mess around with that. You can't. Put him with Magic. I mean, it's over, finished. So let's just a little bit of context there, a little bit. Here's the thing. You put AD in the Spurs, you got to center everything around him and lead you to a championship. I just don't think he's got that. Tim Duncan, he's a silent leader, but he leads. Timmy D. What's up, Merc Blue? Lamar Odom or Corey Maggette? I gotta go with Corey Maggette. That's my guy. Why Rondo barely plays? Ask Cheater always win? Because wasn't playing well enough. And I think they went zone, and we wanted shooters for that zone. That Kawhi mid-range was filthy tonight. You're right, Gabe. It was. Do you like Sangak bread? I love it. You're funny, Carson Johnson. I do. Yes, sir, Joe Black. Is the Magic Johnson the best Laker ever? I think so. But I think it's him and Kobe. Take your pick. They're the same. You know, look, Kobe's got the longevity. Magic's got the impact in that short amount of time, and it's just a positive tenure. Kobe did have some negative clouds at times in his Laker time in his career, but it's both the same. They're both the same. Iverson or Nash? That's a great debate. I don't know. I got to watch more again. I think that maybe Nash, because Iverson, besides 01, a lot of stats. But I need to watch, man. I'm not going to answer that. Jonah Kim, you say I have a friend who thinks Wilton Bill played against Farmers and they won't accept anything else. That's because they're trained to think that way. The media's done a number on these guys. It's like brainwash. It's terrible. And until I went in deep and looked at it and learned about the rules, I used to think the same shit too. And 50s, sure, but not the 60s, man. 60s are great, especially when it gets to the mid 60s. Snoop Southside says Paul George don't show up in the fourth. Just not true. He did show up in the fourth today. 7 points. And after having a bad game, too. Jackie says Kobe won with Powell. Imagine what he would do with Duncan or Garnett. No offense to Powell. Which Garnett? Because in 2010, Powell low-key outplayed Garnett and showed him he was a beast. Hey, Chase Maldonado, you say that zone was stupid from Dallas, but that worked last game. It took the ball out of Kawhi's hands. Cakewalks versus Utah. Cheats are always win. Bro, Utah's going to be tough. Raid, I hope you're not being serious because Kobe Bryant, you said Kobe Bryant's the greatest Laker because Magic said so. Well, Kobe said Magic is the greatest. So, again, they're on the same pedestal. Nash or Kidd, another amazing debate. I like Kidd because he's a better defender, but great debate. Again, I got to watch more to go back in the early career. But I like Kidd because his defense. Isaiah Thomas or Steph Curry. Amazing. I got to watch the tape. That's the main one with Steph Curry I got to look at. Dorian, do you think that 60 years from now people are going to look at our generation of basketball and say our favorite players played in a weak era against plumbers? I hope not. It all depends on the direction that sports media takes. Man, yeah, I believe that phantom call. We can go all day about calls in history of the playoffs, and I can go all day. I mean, there had to have been some questionable calls from my memory in Game 6 of the 2013 finals as well, and Game 7, I believe. Maybe it's not one that sticks out. But in 2010, I mean, we can go all over the place. Home-centric calls have happened since the beginning of time. I mean, not probably – I haven't seen any in the 60s, really, except for this one Wilt controversial goaltend. But I don't know. Anyway. Carson Johnson, I think it's a bad argument what you said. LA and Minneapolis rings, and it does matter in some way. They won 12 here, 5 somewhere else. And the Minneapolis rings came before the shot clock was put in and before, a lot of, black players started coming into the league. Those 50s rings that y'all won, Minneapolis, Mikan, is totally different than the Russell rings. Totally different. So I don't blame Celtics fans for saying that. I still think the Lakers are the best franchise because they've won in more different, they've sustained greatness for multiple periods. But those 60 rings that Russell won are totally different than the pre-shot clock era when it was just all white dudes, basically all white dudes. 60s, it was like, especially, bro, when you get to those mid to late 60s, there's a lot of good players, man. A lot. Snoop Southside, you're complaining about Paul George points in a game that we won. I mean, I'm not. I've taken a break, Raid, with what year are you currently covering for NBA? Because I'm doing playoffs, but I'm on 1969. Do you think the series would be over right now if you all went up against the Blazers? Asked Carson Johnson. I do. 6 games. Yep, we can talk ref scandals all day. That's facts, Jonah Kim. Clippers by 5, Joe Black in Game 7. That's my prediction. 70 Celtics, very underrated. Good shot, Larry Bird. Havlicek, Cowens, JoJo White, Paul Silas. Yeah. No, don't take away your 5 and take away their 11. I mean, yes, it's the same franchise, sure. It's the same franchise. But if we are talking about the city, yes, we have less rings. But, yes, same franchise. Exactly. Right. You've seen my episode series. Yes, exactly. The 50s is what people think the 60s are. It's exactly what it is. Totally is. Bill Walton or Bab McAdoo? I don't know. Probably Bill Walton because that 77 ring. Do you watch basketball YouTube documentaries or elsewhere? I don't know what you're talking about. Top 5 off-ball movers? I can't even think of them, but Steph, Clay, Kevin Durant. I like Mikal Bridges' movement off the ball. Duncan Robinson. Anyway. All right, guys. That's it for me tonight. Big win for the Clips. Thanks for joining me. Raid, I think LeBron has been a bit overhyped his whole career, just on an all-time scale. Anyway, peace. Dr. J or KD, next question. My guy, the doc. I don't know if Johnny Juzang is going to go the first round of the draft, Chase. I hope so, late first round. All right, peace.